So just got back from doing some VersaTuner logs. Show you what I do to tune this. So I've got a log here from this afternoon, about an hour ago roughly, and this is terrible. You can't tune using this. So I export it to CSV, which I've already done there. See, um, and then close out of that, and we go into Megalog viewer. Love Megalog viewer. It's awesome. And we open that CSV that we just exported and gives us a hell of a lot better detail. Um, so you can scroll through, zoom in, zoom out, whatever. I use this mostly, so the histogram and the table viewer. So this is what I use to tune the VE. You can also use it to tune MAF calibration, which is long-term field trim plus short-term field trim with mass, airflow sensor, voltage, and RPM on the axes. So RPM on the y-axis and MAF voltage on the x-axis. So it tells you how much your MAF is out. So as you can see, like it's pretty on point on idle, a little bit out, 6%. Yeah, so I could probably, you know, maybe take out add a little bit between 1.6 volts and I'd probably say 2.1. I wouldn't go to this one because it's an average. So yeah, so 1.56 to 2.1, I'd probably add 3-4%, um, or even just 3% there, 2% here. Yeah, but this one, because it's minus 2.5 there, plus 2.8, plus 6, you sort of go off the hits. So this is green, this is yellow, so this one has more hits than this one, and so on. So that part I generally don't worry about. I could probably do a little bit here, but anyway, that's, yeah, fine tuning. This is what I use the most. So go into here and we go actual air fuel ratio, and we have load down the side here, RPM down the bottom. So load being 100% is atmospheric pressure, so that's 0 psi. 1.5, which is 150% load, is 7.5 psi, and then 200% load is 14.7, 14.7 at 1 bar, whatever, close enough. So yeah, it's you pretty much just work out that. So at 1.25, which is roughly about 4 pound, which is what I was running. Um, yeah, it's pretty much equaling right. So that's how I know that my MAF is calibrated above into positive pressure, because if I was sitting at, say, 170% or 1.75 and I was only running 4 pound, then you'd know that this would be out because it's way too low, or reading way too much load. So you got to make sure this part is right. So from here onwards. And I know that if I run, say, 7 pound, it sits at 1.5. And if I run 10, it sits at 1.75. I haven't been above it, but yeah, you get the idea. Now, what I can see here is as we go into boost, so this is the only time I went into boost here. It's got a little diagram there. So it obviously goes from lean to rich. Now this is pretty good. This is where you want it to be, 11.4 at 1.25, so about 5 pound, 4 or 5 pound, maybe even 11.8. But by 11.5, you generally want it at 11.2, or even, yeah, richer. But what I was seeing was 11.15, which is the richest that the ECU will read on the standard O2 sensor. Now that means that you're not necessarily running 11.15. That means that it's maxed out at 11.15. So it could be 10.2 for all I know. But that's where I usually see the misfires and yeah, then the surging and stuff like that. So if I come into here, you can see right there, for instance, 11.173. So that's essentially maxed out there. Um, so that's not ideal because it's pretty close to being maxed out, which means I've got to pull a little bit of fuel out at that point. Now that is essentially here. So this section just here, that I wouldn't worry about because you turn on throttle closed. Um, you probably find that this part here, because there's so little hits, there's only one there. and what one there. This would have been during a gear change or something, or I've let off the throttle, so it's gone leaner. But yeah, this is pretty good anyway. But I'll show you one that's not good. So if we look in, probably maybe this one. Yeah, here we go. So this is what you see, 11.15. That means it's full maxed out rich, and you don't want that. Like even that would be too rich. So this is when I got the EV14 injectors in, and everything was rich from this point onwards. 11 there at low RPMs, and really rich down here. So I have a spreadsheet that I also go into, but let's see if I can find that. Yeah, there it is. So it's just an Excel spreadsheet. So what I do is I copy this and put it into this section just here, which I've got macroed up, and it tells me exactly how much to add and how much to take away. So based off of my VE tables, so I've got the AFR tables, and I've got the AFR table for the VE adjustment. So this is what I've requested. This is what I want it to be. So at 8,000 RPM and 1 or 7.5 pound, I should be at 11.14. And that's what this does. It looks at these numbers that are logged and tells me here what it should be. So you can say like, okay, well, at this point here, so 4,000 RPM, 80% load, I need to take 5% out. So this will be 4,000 there. So it's running at 12.4, and it should be 13.5 to to 13 roughly. So it's running a little bit too lean there, too rich. So you got 13.5, 12.4, and then down here, add fuel, take fuel. So yeah, it's all over the place, but yeah, you sort of get the idea. It's these ones I generally ignore because this is all the idle range and so on, and that's where you turn on the throttle close to get rid of it all. But yeah, anything above that I don't worry about because idle is generally between these two. This is more like vacuum, like hard vacuum. But yeah, so you can go into VT, go into VE, and then just go to each cell and go, right, I want to add 7%, add 7, add 4, take out 4. And generally you do half of that. So you don't do the whole amount because ECU tuning is a bit weird because it goes, well, like the math calibration, for instance, if it says you're adding 6%, you generally add 3 because you add 6 and you'll probably find you'll be 10% over. It's really weird how it works, but yeah, I was always told the best way to do it was do half of whatever you want because if it overshoots, then at least you're going to still be safe and you're better off undershooting than overshooting. So yeah, this is just all calculated fields based off of where it comes from, where it goes, differences between this map and that map, or this one and this one. So what I'm asking, what it's logging, and then the difference between the two, so I can add that into the VE. Then you upload that and go for another log and try it again. It's a lengthy process, but it works pretty well. But it depends on how far everything's out. If it's close within 5 or 7%, I generally don't worry about it too much unless it's causing problems.